Welcome back. Now that we've understood the importance of non-financial performance indicators and the examples, what kind of KPIs we can come up with in the non-financial area of concern, now we will be looking at different models, performance management tools that are available for you to use in the situation that you have to manage both financial and non-financial performance. And in your syllabus, there are actually three models that are used as models that can be applied for a company that helps us not only look at the financial performance but also look at the non-financial performance. And those three models are balanced scorecard, building block model by Fitzgerald and Moon, and the Lynch and Cross's performance pyramid. So we will be looking at each of those three in the upcoming segments. And all these three, they have their own good things, bad things about them. First, let's take a look at the balanced scorecard. Now, the balanced scorecard was developed by Kaplan and Norton, and what they did was they said that if you are measuring performance of a business, you have to actually look at it from four perspectives, and these are the four perspectives. They said that you should look at the financial perspective, obviously, but you should look at the customer perspective, internal business perspective, and learning and growth. What do we actually mean by this? Um, so the financial perspective is very straightforward. It is basically asking to succeed financially, how should we appear to our shareholders? That's the question. Now, customer perspective, these are the three other perspectives. So let's look at each one of them. In the customer perspective, you ask to achieve our vision, how should we appear to our customers? How should we appear to our customers? Learning and growth perspective is basically to achieve our vision, how will we sustain our ability to change and improve? How will we sustain our ability to change and improve? So, learning and growth is about changing and improving. So, what are the things that we are doing? How do we do things better in a way that we can change and we can improve as time passes by? And in the internal business perspective, which is related to internal business elements, staff well-being, health, employee culture, all of that, to satisfy our shareholders and customers, who are the main external stakeholders, to satisfy them, what business processes must we excel at? It could be technical, it could be technological, it could be legal, it could be cultural, it could be social, it could be staff based, whatever. But internal business perspective, what are the processes that we need to do really well at? These are the four perspectives that they said. You want to measure the company performance holistically, fully, a complete view, then look at it from all these four perspectives. Ask these four questions. Now, that brings me to what a business actually does, or how exactly this works. Basically, what you do is, under each of the four perspective, you identify goals and critical success factors. Right, from the customer perspective, what is my goal, and in order to achieve that goal, what kind of areas, what are the factors that I need to critically succeed at? That's your first step. Secondly, relevant to those critical success factors, you establish KPIs for all the four perspectives. Come up with KPIs, and then of course the rest is the same. You keep measuring them, and you try to manage them, you try to exert control over them, and you use those learnings to plan your future in a better way. Okay, how do you implement the balanced scorecard? So you have a good explanation, you have um, example goals and or critical success factors and KPIs in your study text, so you can take a look at those. We will be looking at the steps of implementing the balance scorecard next, and that is firstly, because the whole point of the balance scorecard is achieving the vision and the mission. So what we say is that you make the strategy explicit. You understand your vision and mission very well, and you make the strategy explicit in the sense that everybody knows what they're doing, everybody understands why they're doing it, right? Make it explicitly well known, right? Add transparency to it, help everyone understand. Then you apply the balance scorecard, identifying. So with it, when they say strategy, it means vision, mission, goals, objectives, and critical success factors, and the KPIs. All of those are part of the strategy. So you get that done. You choose the measures. You choose the KPIs very carefully in a way that it should be relevant. Thirdly, you define the reporting requirements, and periodically you have to keep refining them. You have to keep on changing them, because unlike financial ratios, What is important from a non-financial perspective may change, and you may learn new things about your business that may change your opinion about what you should be tracking. So that is why it's important to keep coming back to what you're tracking and keep refining them. Finally, the people in charge should be managed properly and rewarded for achieving targets. So that is the total people and performance management aspect of things in the latter part, where you manage your performance, you track your performance, and you reward them by their performance. Okay. On that note, what are the good things and what are the bad things about the balance scorecard? The good things, of course, it includes financial and it includes non-financial, definitely. Right, that's a financial perspective dedicated to it, and qualitatively we have customer, internal business, learning, and growth. And it also looks at external as well as internal. So internal business, for example, looks at internal customer perspective, for example, looks at the external customer perspective. Multiple measures could make it harder to manipulate performance because you have all these four perspectives, and you're not only looking at financial. Obviously things will be tougher because you can't really manipulate. Things can't contradict. And you can't say you're doing really well in revenue and then say that the customer satisfaction ratings are like really poor. That might be, then there's something wrong. Then that if we feel like we are making a lot of money and the customer ratings are really bad, then that you're not hitting your potential. You're just thinking in your mind that you're making more money, right? Actually, customers don't really like the product, things like that. It can change measures over time to reflect changing priorities. As I said, it is an evolving process. You have to keep refining, you have to keep learning, especially in the non-financial areas, and is aligned with overall strategic objectives and vision. So it should help achieve long-term success. However, there are a few disadvantages. One is it can be difficult to record and process non-financial aspects, this customer perspective, internal business, those KPIs. It can be difficult to come up with the KPIs. It can be difficult to track the KPIs, measure the KPIs, etc. There could be, because it's four perspectives and you're trying to collect a lot of information, there can always be the potential for information overload, and too much of anything is good for nothing end of the day. Lack of commitment by senior managers or poor communication. So if you're implementing something like the balanced scorecard, you will have to need committed leaders because it's quite a tedious task. Actually, in one of the companies that I used to work for, the overall performance dashboard was built based on the balanced scorecard approach, and it was indeed quite tedious. However, the leadership was quite engaged in it, and it was developed for their purposes, for them to review the business performance, and therefore the acceptance of it was good. Conflict between measures can occur, as I said. Financial and non-financial measures often tend to get be in conflict. There could be, just because Kaplan and Norton came up with these four perspectives doesn't mean that it covers everything. So there could be a lack of areas that are touched, and even given your business specificity, also what specific area your business is in, maybe some of these perspectives are not what is best. There is large amount of time and large amount of cost involved, and the balance scorecard is generally a very strategic level discussion. It's something that the boardroom discusses. Like I said, in my example, the company directors had access to a performance dashboard of the company on a D minus, that is yesterday end of day minus end of day basis. And the lower level, I mean, not even sometimes the senior managers of different departments had ever seen the full balance scorecard view. Everybody's just given a small part. But even some of the most senior people who are working with multiple divisions and who have a stake with operating in a more wider scope, even they haven't seen the dashboard sometimes. So these are the good things and the bad things. So you have to have the skill of evaluating the balance scorecard. You have to have the skill of whether it is the right thing to use, because there are two more models, and that is what we will be looking at in the next video. Thank you. And